Some would say that there's an aspect of growing up that you haven't faced because you have this attitude. That, for example, you never contemplated marriage again, is that right? Did you ever contemplate marriage?
No, not seriously.
Yeah. Well, it could be said that there's something that lies beyond happiness, and you can only really find out by submitting yourself to certain of life's experiences, right? That they're not meant to be happy, and by pursuing happiness, you've missed out on this knowledge. Do you see that attitude?
Yes, I understand that attitude, and I think I lived that life in a very real way for a while. But you're asking more than one question here. The notion to marriage, I think that marriage is absolutely essential for a great many people. But maybe it's time for us to recognize that there isn't one answer. That there isn't one answer in a lot of different ways for finding fulfillment, happiness, whatever you think it's all about. And I would say beyond that the notion that I have lived in a life largely related to fantasy, I can only say the world is filled with fantasies. They are hurtful fantasies. They set one nation against one another. They set one religion against one another. The fantasies that I believe in on a one-on-one basis and worldwide have to do with caring about one another. And nothing touches me more deeply than the things we manage to do to one another on this planet.
What is there left for you to do?
Well, what I'm getting the greatest pleasure from is a time of life that when I was younger I could not have imagined would be so delicious. I had, as you know, a mild stroke a couple of years ago, and that tap on the shoulder was, I called it soon after a stroke of luck, and it really was. It just changed my life. So much of our lives is like a train trip with a vaguely perceived destination that we're trying to get to. And we sit in a seat, and the wonderful world goes by, and it's a blur. And we keep thinking about that destination, and the destination is really death. What we ought to be doing is getting off that train and taking a little walk around and really relishing this incredible miracle that we're all a part of. That's my religion, that's my life.
Shoot away, guys.
Only that incredible miracle, the annual announcement of the Playmate of the Year, could tempt Hugh Hefner out of his pajamas and into a tuxedo. And what do you know? The chosen beauty was one of the three nymphs I had met in the pool. It was Donna.
Okay, we'll add the parents.
Right here, please. Big smile. Very good.
Donna's party dress clashed ecstatically with the sports car, which would be only a portion of the bounty soon to be showered upon her.
We got it made.
Donna's parents had arrived out of nowhere, perhaps by parachute, and didn't look at all embarrassed. It was a big day for them, and the night promised to be bigger still, because now the whole world would be told the joyful news about their wonderful daughter.
Welcome to the Playboy Mansion, the 1987 Playmate of the Year presentation. And what better way to present this young lady than by the magic of modern technology. So if we could dim the lights and allow me to present to you our 1987 Playmate of the Year, Miss Donna Edmondson.
Donna's video was glossily professional and even witty. If she didn't mind, why should I? But even though I was a willing spectator, I couldn't quite suppress the reflection that one of the insurmountable paradoxes of the Playboy philosophy was being stripped bare. Why was such a nice girl laying herself open to the fevered imaginations of unnumbered lonely males? Or was that the whole idea, that it couldn't happen to a nicer girl?
I'd like at this time to introduce the man that will make the presentation, the chairman and founder of Playboy Enterprises, Inc., Mr. Hugh M. Hefner. Hugh Hefner.
Like the philosopher he is, Hefner rose to sum up the occasion in one pregnant paragraph.
As a man who has spent the better part of his adult life trying to make sex and the images of sex acceptable in society, I would like to express how really, really proud I am of what I think is one of the most remarkable erotic videos that I have ever seen in my life. Tonight, our Playmate of the Year is a 21-year-old lady from North Carolina, the middle of the Bible Belt, with her parents here, church-going Baptists as she is, holding traditional values, with a father who has been a subscriber of Playboy since his sailor days in 1960, who is proud to be in the magazine, and her parents who are here, who are proud to have her here. And on that note, I would like to introduce a very special lady, our Playmate of the Year, Donna Edmondson.
If Donna's appointment was meant to show how a sweet, unspoiled girl from the buckle of the Bible Belt saw nothing wrong in taking her clothes off for untold millions of drooling men, it was a triumphant success. Her pride filled the air like perfume.
This is a copper copy of the printing print of her cover as Playmate of the Year, and along with that, a check from Playboy Enterprises for $100,000. In addition, parked outside is a $40,000 Corvette, 1987 Corvette convertible, and I think we have some flowers for you too.
Thank you.
I'm gonna let you say something.
Everybody's asked me how to explain this night in words, and it's impossible. But I brought a list of people that I want to thank because I was afraid I would forget someone. Bill Farley, Michael Ann Sullivan, who works out of the Chicago office, for first noticing my pictures that I sent to Playboy, along with Gary Coles for all his help, and Marilyn Grabowski, Linda
As
Kinney,
Donna went on to thank the population of the United States individually, it was impossible to deny that in a cruel world there were worse things that could happen to her. If she had been conned, it had been with her consent.
First in my test shoot. And there's also another thing I wanted to mention, that there were so many other Playmates in 1986 that were just spectacular. And it was such competition this year. I wouldn't call it competition, they were great friends to me, and I wish we could all share this moment together. They were really wonderful.
Just because she sounded so sincere didn't mean she wasn't.
And I want to thank Carrie Lee for being such a good friend to me.
Donna was moved.
A special thanks to Mr. Hefner. We wouldn't be here without him.
Mr. Hefner was moved.
And especially my mom and dad for their genetic contribution.
The earth moved. And Donna's parents, having seen their genetic contribution come to fruition, had no doubts.
Tell me, what do the local people, your neighbors, think of Playboy and all that sort of thing? Are they for it?
Some of them, and some of them aren't, you know. The majority of them support us. They've had a little negative response, but very little. I'd say 95%, 98% of it's been good. So.
What form did the negative response take? Did somebody ring you up?
Well, some of the people maybe I've worked with say that, you know, they wouldn't let their daughter do that or something, you know, which they're entitled to their opinion, you know. I just never have felt that nudity in it by itself is sinful, you know, there's nothing wrong with it.
Will she be safe out there with all that publicity and
I'm
people
sure they'll
chasing
have
her?
security personnel around her all the time. I'm not concerned about her safety.
You don't think little girls threatened by this glamorous world?
Well, I feel our daughter's intelligent enough to take care of herself.
And one assumed that what Mr. Edmondson said went for Mrs. Edmondson too. A later generation of women has acquired a voice, but some of them still go on feeding male fantasies. A previous Playmate of the Year was convinced that whatever grief the exalted position might entail, she owed a lot to Hugh Hefner.
I'll tell you, he is such a fine human being, and I have known him 10 years, and I have been in all the bullshit. You know, I have been there. I was Playmate of the Year in '79. I've seen what happens to some of the girls, not always good, some good, but it can really decay your soul if you don't understand what it really is.
As my day at the Playboy mansion wound to a close, the top Playboy's night was clearly just beginning. Good luck to him. I was a bit worried about whether Marina would stay in her dress and what would happen to me if she didn't. But otherwise, the whole experience had been no more threatening than a children's birthday party. The Playboy philosophy began by separating sex from reproduction and has gone on to separate eroticism from sex. The AIDS scare has merely completed the process by which men are encouraged to get tremendously excited about what they can't possibly have. Not even Hugh Hefner can live a dream. Not without living in a dream world. In real life, sex can go public only as art. For anyone who feels strongly about it, it's a private matter. If people who make love in public give us the chills, it might not just be because of our inhibitions. It might also be because of their coldness. If sex meant more to them, they'd keep it to themselves. Though Hefner has a point when he says that people are better off making love than killing each other, he can't spread the news without making it shallow. He deserves credit, though, for his perseverance. He has pursued happiness 24 hours a day, on behalf of all those of us who have to change out of our pajamas before breakfast. As Hugh Hefner gazed deep into the eyes of Carrie Lee, he looked like a man who had discovered a great truth. All he wants is for the rest of us to be as happy as he says he is. And if he says he is, perhaps he is. I didn't stay to find out. The Playboy mansion had been a bit like Disneyland. A week spent there would have been too long. A day was about right, and a night might have been frustrating.